Hi everyone, I'm Sandra. As you see, I have a guest, and this is a special guest because for those that have been following us over the last 6 years, you know Ben, you know he passed away last year, and now I've done videos with moms and people that have been affected by addiction. Luke here, he's been on a journey. I'm so happy to have you here. He has been in recovery for 2 years, and he is here to share his experience. Welcome, Luke.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thanks for being here. I am so excited.
Yeah.
You know, we've been talking, and one of the things I love about you is that you're sharing your experience. And what I get from it, it's like a reminder that, wow, I did the right thing. You know, I talk about living with no regret. Can you share a little bit about your story, how you got to recovery, and what you think people need to hear out there?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Luke, born and raised in Brampton, come from 2 loving parents, brother and sister. Family is important to me, and you know, at a young age, I had a lot of struggles as a little kid, and then was introduced to alcohol and marijuana, and alcohol for me at the start just gave me this sense of like ease, that I could breathe, I could be myself. And then that turned into drugs, and around 18 I really, you know, family was starting to notice like, hey, you shouldn't be drinking, like you don't know how to drink normally, you don't know how to stop. So concern was there like early on, and I think about 21 years old, it was starting to get bad to where I went to detox, the William Osler Center in Brampton. I was there for not even a full night and left, which kind of brought 7 more years of, you know, absolute hell to my family, to chaos.
Yeah.
And there's other things, you know, I've dealt with sexual abuse when I was in my mid-teens, trauma stuff that I just held in deep down inside, because when I did come out to talk about it, it wasn't received really well, and especially it was due to an older woman. So in our society, they like make that as a badge type thing, right?
Right.
You know, and so I kind of like shut that down, and just, you know, I use drugs and alcohol to pretty much cope, to kill the pain. But in doing that, it comes out very painful to the others around me. Even though I was in a lot of pain, I was hurting my whole family, putting my parents on constant alert of what's going to happen next. They had 2 other kids that, this is something I mentioned the other day, it took a lot of attention away from my brother and sister, even when they were having their kids. I had the run-ins with like law and tons of broken relationships, and how I got my journey of recovery the first time was back in 2019. I had 2 blackout nights. Don't remember anything from them, a month apart. And the second one, I got arrested and was looking at severe time in prison. And I went to rehab out of that, and got sober, and was in a 12-step program, and starting to build my life back together and clean up that wreckage of my past, make amends. But I didn't really deal with the trauma. So it's almost like the pattern started repeating, especially in relationships.
Right.
Because I never dealt with this stuff, and I ended up having a relapse that landed me back in jail. My family was so proud of me to where I got to at 3.5 years, and the shoe dropped. And at this point, they were willing to, you know, you got to figure this out on your own. We can't do this anymore. And I didn't want to live anymore when I was in jail. I was looking for fentanyl because I knew I wasn't one of those users, and I was like, this, if people are overdosing from this, it's going to take my life.
Yeah.
And I ended up saying some prayers in there. I just didn't want to live anymore, and I woke up this one day and met this chaplain and started my journey to recovery again while I was in Maplehurst Corrections Facility. And today, leading up to the 2 years I've been sober now, I've been getting more involved into mental health and addiction advocacy, sharing my story. And I have such a passion for family members, because I find maybe the family members could get left out of this, right? And it's a family disease. It affects everybody. And one of the biggest things, I remember my dad tearing up, saying, you know, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And one thing I said to him, and I think all the family members, they did their best. I don't think my parents got a playbook that said, hey, when you have this child, if he, turns dependent on drugs and alcohol, this is how you deal with it. They did the best they could.
And I just want to say, like, I'm getting goosebumps while you're talking, because, when Ben was born, I never thought, oh, he's going to be an addict. No, you have all these other dreams. You want them to be productive in society, have their own family, and be happy.
Yeah.
Find their joy. I used to say to Ben, I want you to find your joy. And that was a big part of it. And I feel for your dad. I feel for your mom. And you're right. Family gets left out. And this is what we're here to share with you, is that addiction doesn't discriminate. You came from a loving family.
Loving family.
There was trauma. There are reasons that people start using to numb themselves. And one thing I've heard you say is that there was nothing your parents or your family or anybody could have done to make you get better.
Yes. Yeah. My mom's tears, my dad's tears, my brother, my sister, and my beautiful nieces and nephews. I remember before I relapsed at 3.5 years, my sister sent me a picture of my niece and nephew, and we're like, Luke, think about these kids. But I was already back into that mindset. I was already on a relapse, just haven't picked up the drink or the drug yet, but my thinking went back. And
relapse starts before you use.
Way
right?
before.
It's
before.
here.
It's the old behaviors start coming back out, and it all started out with me being dishonest. Like probably 6 months, 7 months before I actually picked up a drug or a drink, I started.
The relapse started here.
Yeah, it was all up in my head, but nothing my family could have done would have got me sober.
Did you hear that? Nothing his family could have done to get him sober. No. And I know, because at the beginning of Ben's journey, I was trying to fix him. I thought if he would just go to rehab, or if he would do this. It wasn't until a couple years in that I realized there's nothing I can do. And I got support. I got my recovery, and I started working on myself. Yeah. And so I love that you're here to share that, because many people are in the same boat. There are tons of Bens out there, and Lukes, and people that love them. For every person that uses, there's people that love them.
Yeah, because we're more than addicts and alcoholics. We're sons. We're humans. We're sons. We're brothers, uncles, sisters. We're all these different hats as a human. Not just, and Dr. Gabor Mate, I love saying this. Yes. He always says we gotta stop asking why the addiction, but why the pain. What is so painful that this person wants to run away with by, I'm using a drug or alcohol that's killing me. And people are seeing that it's killing me, but I keep going to it to numb that pain.
Ooh, you're giving me goosebumps. Stay tuned, because I know we are going to do another video. Luke, I am so grateful to have met you and to be here with you, sharing your experience. I'm getting emotional, and we're going to do it again.
Me too.
Okay. And remember, where there's breath,
there's hope.
Amen.
Amen.
Peace. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.